Welcome back, everyone. We have another premium ship to review. It's going to be a very short one because I want to get into the gameplay. Because I want you to focus on a few things. Everyone knows Pommern. We don't need to go into the specifics. So, what do we know about Pommern? We know it's German. It has turtleback. It's very tanky, but that also works against the Germans by getting solid penetration damage into its sides. That's where the Germans go bad. The other thing about Pommern, it has a decent little respect. It has a good, decent health pool, but it feels like it's also on the low side for Tier 9. At least in my opinion. Torpedo protection, 25%. That will do some, but it's a brick. It falls under the brick line where the German battleships Bismarck, FDG, Grosser Kurfürst, Mecklenburg, they're bricks. They do not evade torps. You more or less likely take torps. By the time your hydro detects the torps, for the most part, I would say it's usually too late to avoid the torps. It does get 6-kilometer torpedoes, and I want to focus on a few things here. And this is what I've seen playing Perilous Route continuously. I've seen so many Pommerns, and I see a few things that stand out. Look at my secondaries. I'm only at 10 kilometers. And this is my Luchens build I have on right here. But I make a few key differences. Because right now, the max dispersion is 250. That's with the module on. This is how I set my Pommern up. Main armaments, damage systems, aiming systems, damage, and then the other ones. But the main difference is this one versus this. See, this one you're going to get secondary range and dispersion, which is great. But with this one, you get main battery dispersion and a little bit of the secondary. It's not as much by far. I mean, you're losing 2 kilometers. So a massive difference. And that is without the flag on. I did not run it without flag. I didn't run with flags. So yeah, 10 kilometers versus 12 kilometers secondaries. But you get better. Well, I wouldn't say better. I would say more reliable guns. You got 12 guns. FDG, you got 8 guns. Grosser Kurfürst, Mecklenburg, you got 12 guns. There's a pattern. You want to focus into survivability and gunpowder. That's really how you play the bricks. And that's really how you're going to survive in randoms. I mean, that's how I've learned. Even in Bismarck, when everyone else was running secondary builds, I was running main battery builds. And this is something that Flamu has said, and this is a really, really old video that he put up. Like, we're talking 3-4 years ago at least. He was in a Bismarck game, playing his Bismarck, and he was saying everyone puts into the secondaries, but your main battery is doing most of the damage. And that has always stuck with me. He may be very critical of wargaming, but he does know the game. And you have to give him that credit, for sure. And this footage really does back up. And I want you to, if you don't want to watch the whole thing, fast forward to the end and just look at the damage screen. And tell me that the main battery is not worth considering or reconsidering. Because that's what I want you to pay attention to, is the main batteries. Not the secondaries, not the torpedoes, but the guns. I see so many Pommerns in Perilous Route using pure secondary builds. I see them firing high explosive, and I see them making U-turns, sending torps off, and I'm thinking, what the hell am I watching? This is honestly how I would say a Pommern needs to be played. But let's get into the gameplay so you can see the ship. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Pommern. So we've got a pretty good team today. So we've got Michelangelo, Viasma, Buffalo, Navarin, and Iowa. So really good team, really good lineups. Again, like I said, I am running a battery-built Pommern. Basically, I'm sacrificing a little bit of secondary range because my secondaries only go out to 10.5 kilometers usually. With everything, they would go out to about, with the skill, they'd go out to about 12. So I'm losing about 1.5 kilometers, but what I'm gaining is better accurate guns. And with 12 guns, I think it's worth the trade-off for that 1.5 kilometers of secondaries for just more accurate guns. Now he's saying, you know, okay, he's last battle failed, stay with the Duncan. Great. I want you to keep an eye on him though. The Michelangelo.
Enemy force detected.
Again, remember, main batteries, 16 kilometers out. Look at the difference in the spread. If that was secondary build, that would be basically like dropping a shotgun. It's only about 7,300, but you know, if you're constantly adding that up, it really adds up really quickly. That was about, what, a 10K salvo? And really no one, and that's the only thing I never really understand with this mode, is that there's always enemies that spawn up to the left or the right, no matter which way you're going, usually to the left. But I rarely see teams ever go there. Even just one ship going there would be great, but I rarely see a battleship or anyone be like, okay, we have to go there immediately, so yeah. A battleship I wish I had picked up when I had the chance. You know, Cap has had it, Devils have it. I've seen it in action. I think it's a pretty good battleship. I would like to get it, but I'm also not willing to spend like $200 to get one ship. I mean, the most I've spent on a warship, oh, that's a tough one, would probably be the Missouri. Back when it was OG credit printer. You know, that was $100 back then. That was a lot of CSP. And that ship was worth it. Still worth it. Because you get the added increase to the free XP now. So, again, huge difference. Again, look at that Michelangelo. He's saying stay with Duncan, but yet he's, you know, he's not using the Michelangelo to what it really can be. Michelangelo is like the Schroeder for this op. It's extremely tanky, very difficult to take out with the secondaries, and the fact that this one gets actual torpedoes that can basically one-shot any ship you're against. So in a sense, he could literally go be super aggressive, and there's not much he could do. But you see, he's just constantly doing it, trying to protect the CV, which is great, but that's really going to cost star in the end because you're not willing to be aggressive and look at the objectives. So we have to destroy 4 forts, kill the carrier, get it into the zone ahead of the command ship, select Raptor Rescue, and then basically ensure it survives with a certain amount of HP. Okay, that's pretty doable. See that Navarre and Diazma and Iowa are kind of abandoning that whole side. Is it really needed? One ship, yes, could stay there. Maybe 2. But for all 3 to kind of just leave it? Not really. Especially when the Michelangelo itself can literally take out the Grouse Bay, the Toulon, the 2 DDs, and the Battleship all on its own. But he's not really being aggressive enough.
You destroyed an enemy cruiser. Enemy destroyer sunk. Enemy destroyer blown up.
Okay, see, he's dropping his corpse and he's making U-turns constantly, which is great and all. But you gotta be at least a little bit aggressive. Keep in mind, I've been at the head of this, I've only lost about 30,000 HP, plus getting my heals off and everything. That's been a pretty good sacrifice of HP, pretty good amount. 150. We're losing about 30,000 HP. Not a bad one. It's not great, but it's not bad. I do got to give it to the Iowa for going south to get the CV done. We got to give it to him. He did go south. Blow up that fort so it gets a little damage out of the way from him, so he doesn't have to worry about that. And get these forts out. Because 1, we need to get this fort down for the objective, and 2, I really don't want a fort shooting at me to trigger my DCP off. So I'd rather blow it up. And we still got 3 heals, we still got a pretty good amount of HP we can heal back, so it's not like we're hurting. So we can still afford to be very aggressive. Now see, that Michelangelo was all on the other side. Now he's completely turned around and went to that side. And let's just say it's very confusing. Now keep in mind, okay, look at where the Duncan is. Look at where the... Yes, I could actually go in there, but this is a Pommern. This thing does not turn, is a brick. It's a brick. If it was a Georgia or an Iowa or Missouri, I could probably made that turn. But I mean, this thing is a brick. It is a brick compared to the other secondary battleships. I mean, if anything, I compare this thing to basically the Grosser Purple. It's a brick. Like the Poison, like the TK, like the FDG, like Bismarck. It's a brick. It turns like a brick. It handles like a brick. It cannot turn and go into the heel circle, go into the circle like that, and then turn around. It does not turn like that. Now look at the Michelangelo. He could easily get ahead of it. And I'm thinking, okay, he can get ahead of it. He can get ahead of it. And I think, okay, he's going for it. He's going to go for it. Thinking, okay, we can go for it. And then he makes a turn. And I'm like, well, there goes a star. And you gotta I have to put it on the team because, yes, I could have gone in there. But remember, I'm a blue. I can only do so much. I've been at the very front of the task force holding everything down. And I'm still at full HP now. So that is very frustrating, the fact that I can sit at the front, tank as much as I can, and still be at the very front. And they can't do one objective. Plus, you gotta be aggressive because we're in a cyclone. Because I can see everything, but odds are they will not be able to see the targets that I'm aiming at. So, I'm not an expert, but would you rather have about 10 enemy ships bearing down on you? Now, in hindsight, I could have saved my corpses. I could have saved my corpse. Absolutely. That is very possible. But, you know, with the wolf luck I had, I would have waited, and my corpse would have been blown up. Because we would have killed it right there if we had probably had our corpse. I wanted to go for the save, but I'm like, I really don't want to hit that Hwang-Ye. I want to get that Hwang-Ye, and there goes the torpedo. There goes the other Hwang-Ye.
Enemy cruiser destroyed.
Now see, this is one of the downsides of the bricks. Sleepins could basically, even the roof bricks could do this. But the fact that, you know, since it is a brick, usually these bricks have to turn a certain way in order to get all their secondaries on. Plus, the battle cruisers have a much higher firing rate. And we are going to take Shinonome corpse. That's gonna hurt us. Even with our DCP, we needed literally 2 seconds. Like, literally 2 seconds. And we could have deleted that moveset. And that probably could have pushed us to almost 400k. So, a little frustrated there. If we hadn't taken those Shinonome torps, we would have had it. No, yeah, we would have cropped 400k if we had nuked that Mutsu. So that is a little bit frustrating, but it also demonstrates to you just the Pommern in general. And remember, this is only my second battle in it. I have only played it 2 times, but I've seen it played enough times to know what this ship does. Remember, I was able to learn the Yamato very quickly. And I didn't even have a Yamato when I was grinding it in random. He's going to take a Citadel there. But, you know, I was facing Yamatos constantly. And now I had to learn how to play the ship just by facing the ship. It's honestly not that hard. You look at how the ship is killed. And that's the best advice I can give to anyone. Look at how a ship is being killed. You fight a ship, look at it, look how you're killing it. And then look, okay, how do I play this ship without being killed in that same direction? That will give you a huge, you know, sense of like, okay, this is how I play the ship. So, the best advice, Look at how you're killing a ship, and look at how not to die in that perspective. Again, remember, this is a Michelangelo. Michelangelo, super tanky, 71,000 HP. Like the Schroeder, should be one of those ships that should always be at the front lines, especially in this mode. It is exceptionally overpowered. I've seen Michelangelos be super aggressive, get 15, 13 kills, and be top of the team. Michelangelo, Schroeder, Pommern, Georgius. If you got the ship, be ultra aggressive. If you're not, then you're doing something wrong. I'm sorry, that's a pretty shitty thing to say, but I'm not going to hold back. Especially in these modes where it's literally the same thing over and over again. You know what's going to be coming. So change the play style. Push yourself to become a better player. Be more aggressive. Then see, okay, again, that didn't work out. How do I push that again, but just scale back just enough to kind of keep that high efficiency rate up there? You keep doing that, you're going to become a much better player. Especially in these PvE modes. It's all about pushing yourself. If you stay in that comfort zone, you're not going to be doing well. And then when you run into those modes like flagship ops right now, where you're running into teams that are possibly crashing and burning, and you're up here because you pushed yourself, and you see other people that are just doing the safe way but not pushing themselves. If they were up higher, these would be a lot easier. So push yourself. But again, we ended up pulling over 500,000 credits, a nice, wonderful 3K base XP, or free XP, and a wonderful 365K with 10 kills. But I want to look at the main batteries right here when we go to that screen. But we are top of the team with 2,000. Michelangelo, again, 1,300. For Michelangelo, that's pretty bad. If anything, Michelangelo should at least be to where the Navarin is. If not, where I am. If not surpassing me. Like, Michelangelo is really good. Like, it should be up here. If anything, it should be first, not me. And that's saying something. That's saying how good that ship really is. But, okay, so we fired around 250 shells, and we got about 90 main battery hits. Is it worth doing the main battery aiming systems mod? That's a tough one. I think it really depends. In the long scope of things, I think it will. Because you look at the damage. Look at the secondary damage. It's only 95k. Look at the torpedoes, only 28k. Look at where the bulk of the damage came from. Those 90 armor-piercing shells were 250 of my damage. That's why you run the battery build, not the secondary build. Because your main firepower on the Pommern isn't the secondaries, it's your guns. You don't invest in the secondaries, you invest in the guns. Especially German ships. The only ships that should be fully secondary built are the Ruprecht, the Zeiten, the Heinrich. Yeah. Heinrich, Zeiten, Ruprecht, and Schlieffen. Those are the only two that should be, because the guns are already good enough. You don't even need that aiming module. But the rest, but the other line and the other premiums that follow the original German battleship line, you need it. And it's my personal opinion, and I know Forgotten Void may say, okay, go with the secondary build. As someone that has played consistently in randoms with those kind of ships like Kurfürst and everything, I can stand to give you that perspective that the main battery is the way to go. You've got more main batteries, you've got more AP alpha damage in your main guns than your secondaries will ever do, even with Elutions. You're not going to compete with a Schlieffen or Ruprecht with its secondary Elutions. You're not. Absolutely not. Like, I fired 3,000 secondaries, and I only got 93k. A Schlieffen like that, or even a Ruprecht, I probably would have cracked 180k. You're not going to beat it. So invest in the main guns. And main guns, main guns, main guns. That's all I can say. But looking at the damage, okay, not too much, but I mean, look at the torps. Again, those should-have-known torps. Those really did hurt me. And then we're looking at the floods. Fires and floods did a fair amount. So again, main battery and survivability builds for these brick builds. For the bricks, you need those kind of main battery builds. You can do a hybrid where you're kind of maximizing your secondaries but putting skills into keeping up your survival, but you still need to focus on your main guns. And if you disagree with me, play the mode, play ultra aggressive, and see how you're doing damage-wise, but also how long you're surviving, and if you can build that HP back up. Look at it that way. Don't look at the damage, but look at how long you can survive each time. If you're able to survive longer with the main battery builds and less of the secondary builds, there's your answer. But look at how you're dying, and then push yourself. Final score, we still make over 600,000 credits. We can get, again, another nice 3k in free XP, and with 21 points, we get, again, nothing special, 9,000 in Elite Commander XP. Pommern, overall impressions of this ship, it's a brick. Invest in the main guns, and don't over-invest in the secondaries. You can do a hybrid build, but don't do the aiming systems and not the secondary mod. Your guns are going to really need it. But that is my honest review of the Pommern.